Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dawn with Candy Cane Ridge. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to make our large trees for our tree farm sew-along. Stick around. Hey everybody. Okay, today we're going to be working on the first of our two large trees. This large tree consists of one triangle piece and the background pieces, a left and a right side. And then we have our tree trunk, and then we have our background, a left and a right background. So I've got my tree trunk and my two background pieces that go with my tree trunk. Now I decided to go ahead and use freezer paper instead of the stencil material that I had purchased previously. I feel like the freezer paper just gave me a better accurate cut, and I could stack it up and do multiple layers at once. But overall, I feel like the freezer paper was the better choice. But you do you. If you want to use freezer paper, that's wonderful. If you want to stick with the stencil material, that is great too. All right, I've already got this pulled off. So here are my two background pieces. Now, when I traced them, I did fold the fabric. So when I traced it, I got a right and a left side, because this is pretty side up, this piece is pretty side down. So we actually have a left and a right with one cut of our paper. And then I did one cut of the tree. And it was easier with the freezer paper because in the pattern it's in two parts, and I just moved my freezer paper and got both in one cut. All right, so here's our actual triangular part of our tree and our two background pieces. Now, to line these up, I want you to look at the top. The top of the tree has a little edge right here, and our background pieces have a little edge also. So I always start on my right side first. I'm going to line this up with the little flat side of my tree. I'm going to line that up. Be kind of easy because this is cut. There is some bias there. You don't want to stretch it. Just lay it all the way down. It should line up at the bottom, and you're going to stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. You're going to fold it over, give it a good press, lay this side down. You're going to match this up, and you're going to match up at the bottom, and then you're going to stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. if it overlaps up at the top, that's okay. Because when it's all said and done, you're going to come up with a little point there. And that is all there is to this part of the tree. Then you're going to take your tree trunk and you're going to stitch right sides together. You're going to stitch down using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then you're going to do this side. Stitch down using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is all pieced. This is all pieced. Then you're going to add your tree trunk. You're going to stitch all the way across using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And there's your tree. We have the tree part. We have the trunk part. Tree and the trunk, one stitch across, and your big, giant, large tree is finished. All right, so here we have our large tree number 2. It consists of 3 different tree branches and your tree trunk at the bottom. These are all the same size. So what I've done, I have my tree trunk and I have my 2 side pieces, the left and the right background. Again, I used my freezer paper. And I used 3 different fabrics. And you can arrange these in whatever order you want. But you are going to stitch all 3 of these exactly the same. We have our background pieces. Now I'm laying these out with the flat piece at the top and the points at the bottom. Because if I didn't, when you lined these up, this part is hanging off, this part's overhanging, but if we line it up like this, it matches up nicely. And when we stitch using our 1/4 inch, that's going to lay just right. I've got all 3 laid out. I'm going to take all 3 to the sewing machine at one time, and I'm going to get everything lined up. I'm going to stitch the right side on all 3. Then I'm going to open them, give them a good press, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to stitch the left side on all 3. To me, that's just faster, more consistent. And then after you do that, we're going to put our tree trunk together, the same as all of our other tree trunks. We're going to line this up down the edge, stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance, fold over and press. Do this other side, stitching a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Give it a good press. Now here's the trick with this particular tree. Once you get all your trees, each of your branches, branch 1, branch 2, and branch 3 put together, however you want them laid out, you're going to take the top branch and move him to the side. You're going to take the middle 2 branches, these 2 right here, your middle 2 branches. So your middle 2 branches, you're going to take once you've got them stitched together, you're going to cut off 1 inch. So you're going to get everything lined up. You're going to use your ruler, whatever the measurements say, and you're going to cut off 1 inch. Use your rotary cutter and cut off 1 inch off the middle tree branch and the bottom tree branch. That's what creates this piece right here. Then once you've trimmed off the inch, you're going to sew these 2 together. Then you're going to add your top tree branch to your middle section, and then you're going to add your tree trunk to all of this. Can you see that we have taken this and we have just whacked off the top little part there, and off of this one we've taken that part off also. But your top is fine. You don't take anything off of the top of that, and you just stitch all of them together for one big tree. All right, we have our first large tree and our second large tree. And that's all for our large trees. Thank you for watching. When you come back next week, we will be doing the medium trees, and there are 4 different medium trees. Now, the medium trees are going to take a considerable amount of time to sew together. They're not hard. There's just a lot of them. Thanks for sticking around on our tree farm sew along. See you next week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Come back next week when I walk you through how to make the medium trees. There's 4 different trees we're going to be making next week. See you then.